and I'm very pleased to meet all of you and to get this course started. So let me tell you what I would like to do this evening. I would like to sort of give you a general overview of how I want to approach the course. Well, first of all, introduce myself and give you a little bit of background of who I am and what I've done. Then, you know, have each one of you as well, even though I've asked you to do that on the course site, I also would like to from you individually, you know, who you are, what you do, mostly what your interest in project management is. And then, you know, we'll discuss how I would like to see the course go over the semester, over the 8 weeks of the course, and mostly hear your expectations, and also, you know, this is a different format. I mean, I've actually taught courses online before, but they were so-called hybrid courses where we had a couple of seminars in person, and then we continued with the online. So being 100% online is a little bit of a new experience for me. But I would like to hear from you how you like those interactions to take place. One thing about the way I would the course to go is to structure it around a project that you are individually either working on or interested in working on, so that whatever material we cover on the course, you know, has a direct application for you. Because I mean, that's what project management is about. It's about, you know, doing it as opposed to reading about it. So that's roughly, you know, what I want to do this evening. Hopefully, we can do that in the time that we have. So let me start by introducing myself. Again, I am Jean-Marc Choukroun, and I'm sure you can tell from my accent and from my name that I am from Philadelphia, which has been my home now for a number of years. But originally, I am from. Actually, I was born and raised in Algeria when I was, you know, under French. When we were no longer welcome there, we moved to Paris, which is where I went to school for my undergraduate, and then I came to Penn for my graduate work. I did a PhD in economics here. Spent a little bit of time in Canada and came back to Philadelphia. So for the past 30-odd years that I've been here, I've done sort of a combination of work, teaching at Penn. I was a full-time faculty at the Wharton School for about 10 or 12 years. Then I became an adjunct, and I've taught as an adjunct ever since. And then I work as a consultant. I work with a whole variety of organizations, both companies, for-profit organizations, as well as not-for-profit. And this has been, in a general, you know, the broad heading of strategy. And my interest in project management came from the fact that, and as I discussed, and will discuss more in the course, you know, essentially, the implementation or execution of strategy for an organization is through projects. And what I found in my work with organizations is that very often the execution or implementation of strategy broke down because the competency in project management wasn't there. So there were good ideas, you know, good intention as defined by strategy, but when it went to actually implementing through action plans, often things broke down because of poor project management. And that's how I got to become very interested in project management and was practiced and taught for a number of years. So that's essentially my own background. And before we talk about the course, maybe I'd like to hear from you individually, you know, where you are, because you're all over the country, what kind of organization what kind of job you have, what organization you work with, a little bit of what I ask you to do to post on the course site, and essentially, tell me also what you expect to get from the course, so that I can sort of adjust the content to try and meet your needs, because this is all about learning. It's not about me lecturing. It's about you getting value out of what we do here. So why don't we get started, and whoever wants to go first. We now have about 13 people online, so anybody wants to go first, introduce himself or herself? Jump in.
Hello? Hi. Can you hear me?
That's Tracy, right?
Yes. Hi, this is Tracy.
Yeah, there is a bit of a lag in when we see your mouse. I see your mouse move, and then a couple of seconds later, I hear the sound. Okay, yes, go ahead, Tracy.
Well, my name is Tracy Klapow, and this is my second semester at Gratz. And for URJ Camp Newman, I'm in California, Northern California, and I'm the development director. So I have to deal with many minutes. Really, I'm very interested in this class.
Okay, and what kind of project? I mean, big, small, lots of people?
So I work on multiple levels. We're in the middle of a capital campaign, which is it's a $30 million campaign, and we're in our sort of last phase of it. We've already raised $23 million, and we're trying to raise another about $14 million. So that's our really big project. And then we do other projects like during the summer. So we're a summer camp and retreat center. So we work with adults and children all year long. And we have visitor programs during the summer, and we're having this very large alumni event. So I'll be working with multiple people on your celebration, volunteers and people that will be hired to help me. So that's going to take, and that's multi-layered in terms of people being able to donate money towards it, selling tickets towards it, multiple events during the day.
Right.
It's going to be, I mean, large in my mind. I'm not sure how large in your mind.
That's a big project. That's a big complex project. Okay.
And,
all right, good. Thanks, Tracy. We get somebody else.
I'll go next.
Oh, Amy, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Tracy. I'm on the West Coast, too. I'm in Hood River, Oregon. And my two older kids went to Camp Newman many, many years ago.
That's so nice.
Yeah. And I'm in the, this is my final semester. I'm in the Master's of Jewish Education. And, I'm taking this class frankly, in lieu of a requirement. But also, I'm one of those people who's got a million great ideas, and I always feel kind of stuck when it comes to implementing them. Okay. So I am hoping, that's what I'm hoping to be able to get out of this class, is a pathway that takes me from idea to realization.
Okay. Which is what projects are all about. Okay, thank you, Amy. Who do we have next? Barry, you want to go ahead?
Hi, I'm Barry Medica. I also live in the Philadelphia area. I work in South Jersey. I'm the regional director for South Jersey Region BBYO, where I have about, I ended last year at 550 some odd teenagers, 12 chapters. A lot of what I do, or most of what I do, is some type of project planning throughout the year, either myself or coordinating teenagers to run those projects. So project management is something that I've been interested in before. In a previous life when I worked in pharma, it was something that I was interested in. So what I'm looking to get out of this course is to be more efficient when I do, and maybe look for some new skills that can help me do things differently as I approach new projects, as I work on development more, which is a newer role for me, just to have some more tools in my toolbox.
Okay. 500 teenagers every day?
I don't see them every day, but I do have an upcoming program that I will have about 350 at, competing as their chapters against each other all night long.
Wow. Okay.
So,
good, thank you. Who do we have next?
I'll go next.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Lisa Robin. I work in New York City. I came from Florida about 2 years ago. I had worked for a Jewish Federation for about 10 years, and that's relevant to this conversation because I now work for Jewish Federations of North America, which is the umbrella agency for all federations in the North American system. And I sit in a department called National Young Leadership, and we serve these different Jewish federations that have young adult divisions or young leadership divisions and work to help support helping them reach out to next-gen millennials and trying to get them involved in federation or Jewish life in general.
Mm-hmm.
So in my role, I've got a lot of projects that are a little different than what I did at a federation, which was more sort of implementation on the ground. This is more implementation of projects from a national level and trying to work with our federations and offering different projects run smoothly. And the challenge is that we don't have a large team, so I'm looking for really some tools and resources on how to deliver with excellence when you've got a smaller team, and also trying to figure out how to use other resources around you to deliver and make those projects be more efficient and less clumsy. I've often thought about my work, and I've been doing project management for about 15 or 20 years, and I've never really had a system. I've just done it. So this class really intrigues me because I think, you know, if there's an actual way, you know, from A to Z on how to complete a project, I can't wait to hear actually how to do that.
Well, if you looked at the PowerPoint presentation that I posted as an introduction, there is a quote from Mike Tyson, you know, the boxer. Tyson said that everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face. And that's pretty much what project management is all about. You design, you plan, you organize, and then you start doing the work, and that's when you get hit in the face. So one of the really important things to kind of learn in project management is how to adapt and move on and take advantage of opportunities as well as overcoming challenges. But the one thing you know about a project, and especially the kind of project you described that you're involved in, is that they are not going to happen the way you plan them to happen. It's just a reality. So you need to be to expect the unexpected and be ready for it. So I mean that's the kind of thing we're going to try and talk about during the semester. So, but thank you. I mean, challenge.
In Savannah, Georgia, a very small Jewish community in the United States, and my former position was as a program director for our JCC and Federation. So I started there in 2012. Currently, I'm the executive director of our Reform Synagogue here in Savannah. So the projects we have projects year-round, everything from small family events for Shabbat to we have concerts regularly. But the high holidays every year obviously is one of the biggest events that we have to plan for, with many, many layers of things that need to be done, and many, many people, professionals and lay leaders that contribute to making the high. And then about 2 to 3 weeks after the high holidays, we have a major Jewish food festival that we do every single year. When I say major, even though we're a small congregation, we have 8,000 to 10,000 guests that come to this event. So it's months and months of preparation. We'll have around 250 volunteers the day of the event, as well as about 30 staff that work that. So what the biggest challenge for me, I think, is similar to Lisa in that I came into my positions in the Jewish communal world and with no formal training, and so I kind of have made it up as I go, and haven't had a formal system. And now who's willing to step up to do that. So it's fine when you're doing it yourself and you don't have a system, but when you start getting, you need a system to work from, and also so you can train others to take on bigger roles. So I'm really looking forward to learning a system that I can implement, but I can also train others to utilize to make them more effective as well.
Just out of curiosity, how small or how big is the congregation?
So we have about 390 membership units. So that's, you know, an individual up to a full family. So we serve about, I'd say about 1,000 to 1,100 congregants total. We have myself. We have one head rabbi. We have a finance director, an administrator, and a programming assistant. So the programming's never been in this type of position before, so I'm trying to do a lot of training with her and help her be a good professional in that area. And then everything else is really done by lay leaders.
And when you say that you expect 10,000 people at the food festival, who comes to that food festival? Is that the whole community? I mean, the whole...
Yes, it's every ethnicity, every religious background. One thing that's very special in Savannah is because we're small, we have a very supportive community. So, you know, the Greek Orthodox Church people and the Catholic people and the Jewish people and the Muslim people, everybody comes, and it's at the biggest park in town. So we'll have everybody showing up, and then we also have a very big tourist business in Savannah. The tourists come specifically for that event. In town they'll come. So you've been doing it for 25 years. It's an enormous and very wonderful event. Last year was the first year that I really ran it. So it was very eye-opening. And so we every year we want to improve what we're doing.
Yeah, well, that's a great thing. Okay, so thank you very much for the challenge. Who else wants to go next?
I'm happy to go.
Jared, go ahead.
All right, my name is Jared Rosenblum. I live in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I work for an organization called Friendship Circle, and we run social programs for kids with special needs. So basically, I'm planning projects and programs all the time, so that's why this has a lot of value.
Oops. Something happened to your microphone. Hey, can you repeat what you just said? It got blurred in my speakers.
I don't know.
Yeah. So okay. Can you repeat what the organization does?
Friendship Circle, it's called.
Okay. Yeah. And it's based in. Is it based in South Jersey or in Philly? I don't know. Can you hear Jared? I can't.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, now we can. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know what's going on with the technology here.
Right.
So we're based in Philly. Our office is in South Philly.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. Thank you.
I,
So, who else is online that hasn't spoken yet?
as I can.
I'll go now. I can.
You?
I'm on my phone. I called it.
Oh, okay. So, Michelle.
Sorry.
Yeah. But I apologize for not answering your early message. I just didn't get it because
Oh, that's okay.
forwarding.
Thank
Okay,
you, though.
go ahead.
So I work at Jewish Heritage Programs, which is actually based right off of Penn's campus.
Oh,
So
okay.
I work out of a Chabad house at Penn, and I know I was in, like, my boss also helped start Friendship Circle, and his daughter and son-in-law are involved. That are, like, very involved, so a lot of connections. And I'm the program manager of the Young Professional Network, so I run all the different events that we have, like the social events, holidays, Shabbat dinners, networking events, mentoring events, community service events. So I kind of run all those different programs. So I'm excited to learn, like, new strategies and better ways to run things, and just to learn as much as I can.
Are you on the Penn campus?
Yeah, we're at 40th and Spruce.
Oh, okay. Okay. So maybe we can run into each other.
Yeah. I work from home a lot because I meet with a lot of young professionals, and most of them work in Center City, but I'm there a few times a week still.
Yeah. Same with me. I'm not
My
there.
my coworkers work on Penn's campus because we have a program on the campus, so one of my coworkers just works with that program.
Okay. Thank you. Who else is ready to jump?
I can go now.
Okay, that's Judy.
My name is Judith, and I honestly do not have the experience that all of you have. I have worked for a synagogue before, and I live in Dayton now, and I have just started working at the JCC because I want to become involved within the senior center. They have a huge program for the seniors. And that is part of the reason that I wanted to take this class, because there will be a lot of planning and programming and project planning and so on, so on. In the past, I worked in the legal field. And in the synagogue, as I said, the synagogue was tiny. We had 100 families maybe. And now that I live in Dayton, if Jennifer was mentioning Savannah, Georgia being small Jewish community, cut that by about 70% at least. So a lot for me to learn. I've run one or two small projects, but it wasn't anything big. It was raise money within the legal department or something like that, but nothing as big as Lisa or other people have mentioned.
Do you anticipate that you will have those kind of projects to run?
As I grow within the senior center, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Who else wants to go next?
Hi.
Hi, you want to go?
Sorry.
Yeah?
I'm happy to go. Hi, Jesse. Hi, Lisa.
Go ahead, Ilana.
Hi. I am Ilana Goodson. This is my third semester at Gratz in the nonprofit management program for the Federation as well. My current position is the Director of Philanthropy and Collaborative Entrepreneurship. And that is in Pinellas County, which is outside of Tampa in Florida. And that is, similar to a Director of Development, so my projects are similar to a lot of what other people have said here. And I also have kind of created my own systems and processes, so I'm curious to see, somebody else's and kind of compare and contrast. And Jessie and I, the woman that way, also have we also have a startup company that we started over the past year, and so we probably could use some processes and things like that, because it includes manufacturing and things that we've never done before. So,
can you give
probably,
specific, or is it still confidential or somewhat?
yeah, we can talk about it. It's public now. It's a Jewish toy company.
Oh, okay. That's good. I may be a customer for you. I have like 5 years. For what ages?
For children, so between 5 and 11, but we find that the toys are appealing to up through college students. So,
okay. Well, my grandchildren are 5, 10, and 14, so we'll be customers. Okay, thank you. And Jessie, you want to go next?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I also work at the Jewish Federation in Sarasota, Florida, which is south of Tampa.
Okay.
And my position is Director of Community Relations, which is similar to, if anyone else is in the Federation system, a CRC. I do advocacy for Israel, and I educate about anti-Semitism and the BDS movement. I supervise a Hillel professional and our Israeli Shaliach, so a lot of community-oriented programs are the projects that I work on. For instance, when Elie Wiesel died, in 2 days I did a memorial service where over 400 people showed up. If ever there of my projects are really sort of on the fly. I don't have a lot of time to do them. So we mistakes and we fix them within an hour because we don't have time. But in the past I have done a lot of women's programming, and they are very demanding women. line pomegranates, they give it a certain level, and so they're quite demanding. Ilana is a lion, so. But I'm I'm in this program, the Masters for Nonprofit Management program, because I'm in this field and I want to grow, and so I'm really excited to learn how I can use better practices in project management at work. So.
Good. Thanks. That's great. You said something. You said something earlier, which when you think about it, is kind of strange. You said something happened in Israel like a war, as if it's like in Philadelphia it might be a traffic accident. In Israel it's a war. But that's a reality.
Yeah, it's and it might sound a little I don't know, blasé, but it's my everyday life, That's,
yeah, I totally understand. It's that's what it is. It's amazing.
Yeah, I hate that I have to do them, but and I work with our Christian community who are pro-Israel, so they mobilize very quickly. I'm thankful. So.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next. Somebody else?
I can go next.
Who is that?
This is Dara. All the webcams are taken.
So somebody speak. Oh,
Wait, hold on. Here we go. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Hi, Jesse. So I'm starting the new year with a cold, so I'm literally in bed right now.
See, that's the nice thing about online courses is, you know, you can be in your pajamas and
right. I wasn't gonna share my webcam, but I didn't think that was fair because everybody else, I've seen you, so hi. I'm in Philadelphia. I work for Jewish Family and Children's Service as a care manager. Basically social worker, just don't have my MSW yet. And I do outreach and enrollment, education, outreach and enrollment, mostly in food pantries. I enroll folks in benefits, public government benefits such as SNAP, food, which is food stamps, Medicaid, anything that you can apply for through the state of Pennsylvania. Also other state programs. Basically, I screen people, see what they're connected to, and then see how I can fill in the gaps for them. Ease some financial stress while they're, you know, just trying to live their lives and feed their families and so on. So my work is really clinical, and I don't do much or any, honestly, with this job programming. I do have lots of ideas, but everything, like I said, everything is so clinical. I'm constantly, it's like putting together puzzles, and it's doesn't leave me much space for big picture stuff at this moment, but I do have ideas. In the past, I lived in a small town in the South. I wanted to give a shout out to Jennifer, who's in Savannah. I used to live in Carolina. And there I did small programming, a lot of youth programming. I co-founded and ran a social group for young Jewish adults in Asheville, and that was, you know, from the ground up, and that was fun. So I enjoy the creative process, and I enjoy implementing. Just in my current work, I don't do much of it, but I hope to in the near future, or when this job leads to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Okay. Very good.
I'm going to unshare my camera now. All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Darren. Do we have somebody else ready to go? Tally?
I can go next. Hi, Jesse.
So, let's see you.
Jesse and I know each other from high school. We worked at the JCC together in St. Paul, Minnesota, Minnesota Pride. I'm Tally Moskowitz. I work for a large synagogue in the Washington, D.C. area in Bethesda, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. In youth and family programming. So my day-to-day sort of life is all about programming. And I mainly work with 6th through 12th graders, so I have a lot of teenage hormones that I deal with on a regular basis. And when I'm not working, I serve on the board of a couple of different organizations, so it involves, you know, a lot of fundraising, a lot of outreach, you know, start to finish from, you know, the beginning of an idea to how are we going to raise the money, what are the tasks that need to be done, what are the deliverables, and what's our timeline. And so I've been, you know, I've had quite a bit of
programming and planning experience through the board work that I've done, as well as a little bit through work. It's a little bit different with youth programs because they're not necessarily as structured. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Is your synagogue, is it a Reform synagogue?
No, it's conservative. It's got about 1,100 family member units, and we have one of the largest education programs and youth programs in the entire region. So we have, like on a Sunday morning, we have like 550 kids.
Wow.
And building, and that's just kids who go to regular secular school. We also have a bunch of kids who are at the Jewish day schools in the area.
Okay. No, the reason I was asking is because a friend of mine lives in that area, and his daughters have their bat mitzvah in a large Reform synagogue. So I was wondering if it was the same one, but obviously it's not.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Who do we want next? Amanda? We have two Amandas. Amanda first.
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
So, go ahead. Gratz.
Hi, California, Amanda. It's nice to see you too. So my name's Amanda Katz, and I work in a synagogue up the street from Tolly, another conservative synagogue in suburban Maryland. Assistant Executive Director, so I'm responsible for programs and membership engagement. This sort of is a broad job description, meaning that I do everything with all of our families, Shabbat and holiday programming, all of our fundraising, youth events, events for adults, sort of all ages. And I'm working on my master's in nonprofit management so that I can eventually become the executive director of the synagogue, either this one or another one if possible. What I feel I'm lacking is just that top-notch, professional, polished experience of saying that I have the tools appropriate to lead a project. I end up the role of being the person to push everything along with timelines, with attendance measures, giving people jobs, but I would love some more official tools to use when I'm pushing things forward.
Okay, okay. Well, that's, you know, one thing about, as I mentioned before, you know, the projects, it's very helpful to have, to use tools and to have structure and to get organized, but it's still about judgment and about dealing with the unexpected and so forth. So hopefully what we'll do will help you.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we have the other Amanda still here? Amanda, what's the other one?
Blincher.
Blincher.
She had to sign off. She said that she had to sign off because her children needed her.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, at one point, I saw that on the screen. So do we have somebody else? Let's see, how many people have we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it looks like about 13 people have introduced themselves. So if Amanda comes back, we'll hear from her. We have a total of I think 21 people in the class. So about 7 or 8 are missing. So let me tell you what and I've sort of outlined a little bit in the syllabus and in some of the postings that I did between yesterday and today. The way I would like to run the class, I would like you to pick a project that you are currently working on, or a project that you are planning to launch in the near future, or just a project that you think might be a good idea to do, but something real. To pick it, and then essentially use the semester to organize it, structure it, and even begin to execute it depending on your schedule and the resources and so forth. But essentially, as we go through the semester, as we talk about some of the issues, some of the tools, some of the concepts, for you to apply them to the project, and that would sort of be essentially in some sense, the assignment for the course would be to kind of report back on what's come up in your project, what you've done, how you've handled the issues, and share them through the web, through the forums, so that you can learn from each other and then get input from me. Meanwhile, so that's essentially the structure of the course. You know, the assignment will be around your own project, and it's important for it to be a real project that matters to you, so that you can make the investment, and so that the work that you do in the course is not additional to, but contributes to advancing your normal work in your job, or in the case of maybe Jesse and with your company, maybe something about your company, whatever you decide to do. So that's the general view. Now, what I would like to do over the next maybe week and a half, in other words, between now and the end of next week, if we can, is to have a conversation with each one of you. If it could be a very short conversation, but just as you pick your project, to have a quick chat. I mean, it could be longer or very short, but just to kind of get a sense of what the project represents, and also to get to know each other a little better. And then through the rest of the semester, I will be available both online, on email, and by phone to discuss anything that may come up that you would like my feedback on. So in some sense, I see myself as more of a coach and an advisor than anything else. Now, in terms of the content of the course, I have posted a number of, if you've been to the website, sorry, to the course site, you've seen I've posted both some reading material, essentially 3 kinds of things for each of the week of the course. Some PowerPoint presentations, some readings, and I will have some additional ones as we go along, and also some tools and templates. For this week, I posted a PowerPoint presentation, which is Introduction to Project Management, and I did something that I've never done before, which is to record my comments on the PowerPoint. So I hope it comes across, well as you listen to it, as you watch it, and that it's not all. And I think it worked. I mean, I listened back to some of the slides. It seemed the sound of my voice seems to come across, and what I'm trying to say seems to be intelligible. But basically, I will sort of do on some of the PowerPoint. I will do the same thing. Record some comments on the slides, and in some other cases, I may want to have a webinar like we're having tonight. And I'm not planning at this point to have a webinar every week, but we might decide, and I would like your feedback on that as well. If you feel that this is a useful format, we can schedule more. Obviously, the difficulty of webinars is that it's it's at a given time. We have people on the West Coast and the East Coast. Some of us travel, so sometimes it's not that easy to find a time that's convenient to everybody. But of course, it can be, as we're doing today, for others to look at. But so I'm not, as I said, I'm not planning to have a webinar every week, but we probably will have a couple more before the end of the term. And what else? I mean, that's pretty much the overall framework for the course, the way I'm planning it. Now, for this week, you know, I posted three what do you call them? 3 discussion questions. The first one was for you to give some background on who you are. So in effect, you've kind of repeated a little bit what you wrote tonight, which is good. The second one was a question that asked you to tell me or tell us, because this is shared, some experiences you've had with projects. You know, what when you think of great projects you've been involved in, what made them really good, and bad projects, what made them really bad. And what I'm trying to get at is to see if we find common patterns. My experience is that in fact we do, that people tend to generally agree on what makes a project bad and what makes a project good, but we'll see what comes up with your comments, and then you know, you'll see what everybody shares, and I'll synthesize what comes out of that, you know, by the end of the week or before the next class, so that we can see what are the things that tend to be really frustrating in projects, that tend to get people unhappy, and things that make projects be a good experience. You know, I've had experiences with big projects. In particular, you know, when I lived in Canada for a while, I was involved in a very big project, which was the planning of a new international airport for Toronto, which in the end the project went quite far in planning the airport, and then eventually, because of technological changes in noise abatement technology, the government decided not to go ahead with the new airport, but to expand the existing airport. But that project, for internal political reason in the Ministry of Transport in Canada, was a project that nobody wanted to be part of. So what you had as a project team was people who were sent there departments because their bosses didn't want them around, or people who were given some very significant financial incentives to go, and that made for a very, very dysfunctional team. And but that's a pretty common situation in big organizations, where it's not unusual to find those kind of big projects where what you essentially have is a whole lot of people who'd rather not be there, and are there for reasons that are often not the good reasons for it. So one of the things that we'll talk about is how to make projects a good environment so that people want to be there. You know, several of you have mentioned when you talk about your projects how you end up being the project. You know, it's you do it, and that's one of the things that you want to work not to be. You don't want, as the project leader, to be the project. You want the team to own the project. You want the people working on the project, their project, not just your project because you are the project leader. So that's one thing we will talk about and spend some time on. So, and then the third thing I asked you to do for this week is, you know, to think about that project that you want to work on. What I would like, if at all possible, is for you to send me or to post for this week a very, you know, a short description of the project that you want to work on for the rest of the semester. You know, it could be, you know, 3 lines, a paragraph. It doesn't have to be very elaborate. But I've also posted a tool which I call the Project Startup Checklist. I think that's what I called it. And I would like you to have a shot at filling it. But to do that, maybe next week, you know, for the next few days, but so give yourself a little bit of time to think about it, because as you will see if you haven't looked at it, you know, that checklist includes some details about the project, and that becomes, in some sense, the first working document for your project. And so then we can, in fact, I can give you some feedback on that as you prepare it, and also let me know if you have any. From what I've heard this evening, there doesn't seem to be any confidentiality issues with the projects you may be working on. But if there are some confidentiality issues, if there are things that you are working on that should not be public for whatever reason, let me know so that I'll know to be careful and if it's things that you prefer not to share because they involve some issues, please let me know, and I will certainly protect any kind of confidentiality that you need, any privacy. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to do for tonight. Any question that you have about any of that and that you want to add, raise, comment on at this point? I mean, you've seen the the syllabus. Let me be very honest with you. I am not. My interest is really the value you get from the material. It's your learning. So this is not about my checking that you've done the readings, checking that you've followed my instruction. It's about making sure that you are drawing value from what I'm giving you. So don't stress out about grades and stuff like that. Focus on getting value out of the course. Try to get as much from me as you can get. I'm very happy to give. Let me add something else about my own personality. Which would seem to be probably a contradiction with the fact that I teach project management. But by personality, I am not very good with structure. I like to run with the flow. I like to adjust as things go, which is kind of the antithesis of what I teach, which is structure and process. So sometimes you'll find that maybe I'm a little not as I said as organized as you might like. So that may well happen. As I mentioned before, I am originally from North Africa, and for those of you who know people from that part of the world, this is the South. This is Mediterranean. We like to relax when we can. So, anything else? Any comments? Any question from any one of you? Okay. Well, we took only about an hour. I mean, we had scheduled an hour and a half, but we've done it in an hour. So, try and get, and I've seen, I got a notice. I haven't checked what people have posted yet. Although I saw earlier this afternoon there were 4 or 5 people that had posted. But I got, Gratz has a very well organized thing that they send me at the end of the day. Now I don't. Once a week, but synthesis, not a synthesis, but what do you call it, a digest of the postings. So I just got an email before we got on that there were a number of postings from the people in the course, which is very nice. So I'm not committing to responding every day to the postings, but I will probably look at the postings every day and respond. I probably respond sometimes during the week. Certainly, anything if you have questions in your postings, I will definitely answer them. But I will try to give feedback as much as I can as we go on. So there we are. Any other thoughts or comments? Or and by the way, I mean, I noticed we have. I don't know how many, but a significant number, maybe about half of, maybe 7 or 8 people from the Philadelphia area. So it is quite possible we might at some point try to set up a meeting, which would be a webinar for the rest of you who are not local, but where we would bring the Philadelphia people together in a classroom at Gratz, maybe in the middle of the term when we can have sort of a little bit of a structured progress report on your work, and then we could bring those of you who are local together and then have that as a webinar for those of you who are not local. And I saw Dara who said she liked the idea, so that's one in favor. So I'll see whether we can organize something like that. Any other? Good. Okay. So thank you. Welcome to the course, and let's get going. Okay, bye-bye, everyone.